All right. We're making a second attempt at this, friends. Sorry we dropped temporarily due to an unknown problem, which happens occasionally to me. Something to do with transparency layers. This is the second episode of Game of Thrones, House War. You may find yourself looking in the YouTube comment section at the description of this video and finding a button that says skip introductions. If you don't care about who we are and simply wish to get the game started with, please hit that button. It will tell you the time to click. And normally if you just click on the time when it's there, although it doesn't always work on mobile, it will hop you to the correct time. If not, you'll just have to slide your little cursor over. Friends, we're here. People apparently like what we're doing, so we decided maybe we would do it one more time. Maybe like 1 or 2 more episodes. Who knows, you know.
At least one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, we may have put hours and hours of work, and then this week everyone put hours and hours more work into creating their houses, including several streams about it, I think. Grimdark James is in the chat. He'll be here in order to let me know whenever I get my math wrong. That's Battletech reference. Friends, let's remind ourselves who we are and what we've done this week. Although technically, I guess you don't have to remind yourself of what you've done this week. I remain Arthur Perkins, APGamingREAL, and this week, almost all my shows got canceled. And my Tuesday night show, which is all artists who make art during the show of everything that's happening, managed to, I would say, survive is the technical term for it. I believe being captured and then selling out one of your comrades and then that comrade also being captured is not technically a victory. I would call that a defeat. They were defeated but not destroyed. And now we're switching over to playing Dungeons and Dragons the West Marches style. So all week has been spent in preparations for that. And MechWarrior Destiny dropped from the Kickstarter beta. So there's been way too much TTRPG reading and not enough watching of anime. That's where I'm at. Some of you who are watching this just for Game of Thrones and have never seen any of my other shows, you should know, yes, I am an electrical engineer. Yes, I'm a professional game master. Yes, I've been doing this for slightly over 5 years. But my real dream is to one day become a full-time Fate Grand Order player. That will be all I do. I just play Fate Grand Order full-time, 24/7. Maybe like 23/7. You gotta account for server maintenance.
But not food or sleep.
You can food while you're playing, you know. If you properly time your 3-turn, you know, Noble Phantasm AoE wipes, you can eat a sandwich during the 17 seconds it takes for Ryko to clear the screen.
That is a fast sandwich.
You can have a few bites of a sandwich while Ryko clears the screen. Look, you do it every time somebody... Look, don't worry.
I thought I could eat
Logistically,
a sandwich in 17 seconds.
the human body is physically capable of eating a sandwich, all right? Let's just be clear on that. I don't want anyone to contest this particular point.
So you're admitting you're human.
I mean, that would be tough. I'd say mostly human, mostly harmless as well. Kelsa, as someone who identifies as human, why don't you tell us about yourself and your
Hello.
week?
I'm Kelsa. My week has been... I've been fighting, feeling really crappy all week. In fact, like starting at the end of last week's episode, I was like starting to fade, and I've just kind of been low level blah ever since. But despite that, I still had time to play one of my TTRPGs this week, which is the one where I'm GM, which is Scum and Villainy over on Party Wipe Games. The name of the show is Packet Loss, and this week was a pretty chill, working on some downtime activities stream, which was really nice. I think that's always a really fun part of Scum and Villainy, or really any Blades in the Dark game, is diving into the downtime and seeing a little bit about what our characters do when they're not not being scoundrels. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, usually I also have D&D, but that also got canceled. So lovely. Next Monday, which is tomorrow, I know how math works, days, will be the next episode of Consumed, which is going to be pretty fun. Everyone should tune into that on my channel Monday night. And yeah, I'm going to try to not cough into the microphone. And that's pretty much how I'm doing right now.
Okay. Cotton.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
I'm Cotton and I doodle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This week I started watching Gun Gale Online, and that's super good.
That actually is super good.
It's a really good show.
That is one of those animes that I would like to be hit in the head with a hammer so I could go back and watch it again fresh.
It was really good. I was expecting something more dark, I guess, from the Sword Online, but it's amazing.
That's true. Sword Art Online is an incredibly dark and shitty anime, but Gun Gale Online is great.
It's really great. She's got a bunny hat. I'm sold. That's pretty much the most exciting thing that happened to me this week.
I see. Let me inquire further.
Mm-hmm.
The most exciting thing that happened to me this week was finding out that I was betrayed by someone who considered me a close friend. I joined Cotton's play-by-post server to lurk around and play Pokemon, and apparently one of the characters the administrators, namely Cotton and Pondo, signed off on is the great detective, the smugly Andrew Parkins, great detective AP, as played by Tice, who is very clearly a parody of me. And I keep searching for all of the stabs in my back from where I've been backstabbed here.
I have no control over Tice. When he shot me his character idea, he was basically playing the kid from the movie Detective Pikachu. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I didn't notice his name until we started the quests.
Trade twice.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
That is not even remotely true. Imitation is the sincerest form of infringement, as some might say. And I would hate for Tice to steal my spiel as a crime-solving detective who is extremely smug, I guess. Look, low-key, that whole discussion was an attempt to get people to go to Cotton's play-by-post server, which is available now if you want to play some Pokemon.
It is. It launched Friday.
Let's be clear, I don't actually feel that betrayed. I just felt like it would be a very funny story to tell.
It was pretty funny when I figured out he was Detective AP, and then Pondo was asking if it was just a coincidence, and I was like, no, his name's Andrew
there's no
Parkins.
way. What concerns me is that he puts the dots. He makes it a parody of me, but he makes it A.P. and it drives me insane. Listen, the parody doesn't bother me, but the dots drive me nuts. I'm like, why would you do that? If it's a nickname, you don't put the dots in there. Name another person who has a nickname that has dots in the middle of it.
I can't. I don't think.
You just don't do it. It's not done. It is simply not done. Wise Fool, speaking of other things that are not done, let's talk to you.
I too am a little bit sick, so apologies if I forget to mute and cough into the microphone. I've been playing games and doing stuff. We had a Scum and Villainy on Monday with Johnny, and as usual, I got us out of trouble and saved the day and
Did
led
you?
the crew to victory.
Did you?
I'm clearly the hero of the story, the
I'm gonna let
brave space pirate captain, and you should all tune in to watch how great I am.
You know, I was there for that show, so.
What's the name of the ship? What's the name of the ship?
The
Right?
name of the ship is it's technically the Glory Hole, but is properly the Blaze of Glory. If you want to tune into this nonsense, it's on Unmade Gaming's channel on Mondays. It's a lot. It's a lot. And we have a lot of fun. And if you want to hear us like snark at each other in overdone accents for 2 hours, it's right up your alley. Other than that, I haven't been doing a whole lot. I will complain about one thing that I have a feeling that almost nobody on this channel will care about. But it's college football season this time of year. And
You've lost me already.
That's one of the few like major sports that I follow. And my team is so fucking bad this year, and we got destroyed yesterday, and it was very, very depressing.
Oh shit! What's this? West Virginia University, #1 in the Big 12. Wow. I guess
Yeah.
WVU is absolutely destroying it out here.
But yeah, so that sucks. We're constantly being told that we're gonna be good year after year and then suck, and that's a bummer. But other than that, life's good. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
I mean, you could become a Mountaineers fan. You know, that's always an option.
I'm all good. I'm
You
all
sure?
good.
Let me sell you on this. Morgantown, West Virginia. The most purchased alcohol in Morgantown, West Virginia is the cheapest half keg of vodka available for legal sale in the state of West Virginia.
Good.
Did you just say half keg?
Half keg. That is the most purchased bottle of alcohol. Not bottles, not beers. A half keg of the cheapest vodka. It's called like
That is a
Vladimir's or
lot.
something.
That's a lot of vodka.
It is a lot of vodka in Morgantown. Let's go Mountaineers. Montagni Semper Liberi. Right
you know,
there.
if you want to switch teams, you can always go for the Huskers. Known for having the nicest fans.
Japan is known for having the nicest fans.
Plus, all the Husker fans continue to watch the games. If they do good or not, they'll just keep coming.
Yeah, that's how most fans are.
There's like, they had a streak of like 340 some sold out seats in the Husker Stadium for a while. Like games in a row where every single seat was bought. They were pretty proud of it.
Okay, interesting.
Those are some dedicated fans.
That's all I got, AP. That's all I got.
All right, Wise Fool. Johnny, you're coming to us live on the road again on your travels.
It's like a Willie Nelson song for damn sure.
Okay, I'll buy that. So there's a lot of alcohol and whiskey involved as well. All right.
Yeah, you know, and the thing that he didn't talk about, right? You know, other drugs of, you know, mildly recreational, but yeah, coming broadcasting from a hotel, live and direct, somewhere where hotel internet really sucks, and so. Sorry,
Yep.
guys. I was on a stream Friday night over on Arden Elrond's channel, and I missed 3/4 of the combat because I just kept roboting out. So hopefully tonight's is better. But yeah, if you want to see me anyplace else, you can probably see me on my channel trying to get through elements of the book on the character creation and stuff for this game that I haven't finished yet. But you can also see me where Sam was talking about on Monday nights over on Unmade Gaming, where I'm the guy who has to play straight man to these fools, and it's not hard. They really are foolish.
That's not how you play Scum and Villainy. When your players go ridiculous and crazy out of and off the deep end, you go deeper, you go harder, and that's how you fuck them up.
See, I didn't know you back when I was running Blaze in the Dark. But that was my Blades in the Dark game. I wanted to go light and fluffy with my space opera and not do that to my characters in Scum and Villainy.
Oh,
However,
it's light and fluffy. It's just off the wall bonkers.
yes, we're about to get to that particular moment because they've run into a place where there are a number of different factions, criminal factions, who are about to read them the right act, or basically just murder them if they do the wrong thing. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, right, Sam? Anyways, that's me.
I guess that's everybody. Is there any meta topic that we need to talk about, perhaps? I know that some talk has been happening about the next Game of Thrones experience, but I don't know if anyone was in on that. Next I don't want to say season, the next prequel, I think is what it is.
Oh yeah, the one that's about the Dance of Dragons.
We'll see.
That's a good era. That's a good era to zoom in on. I gotta say, I'm more interested in that than Age of Heroes.
So did they actually finally announce that specifically?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That explains why all of the writing that George R.R. Martin is doing has nothing to do with like finishing the current story of the set of books.
Look, let's be clear about that guy, okay? He's making more money not finishing the books than he would ever by finishing the series. Extending it out as long as possible, continuing to greenlight more seasons of everything, infinite merch, and then reselling the old books in new collectible. Like now you can get the whole book series and the whole, movie series, HBO series all together in one, etc., etc., etc. Oh yeah, Sean Bean is turning down roles where he dies. Look, yes, we might know Sean Bean from the first season of Game of Thrones, but nothing will, for me, ever beat the part he played in The Martian as the mission director.
Oh, that's actually a good role.
He explained the Council of Elrond.
yeah, that's true. He does do that in that movie.
And he was in Lord of the Rings at the Council of Elrond. He sits down and he's like, the Council of Elrond is a secret meeting. Nothing will ever beat that moment for me with Sean Bean. He can never exceed that level of meta awareness because the whole time he looked as serious as he was at the meeting during the secret let's save everybody on Mars plan.
What about as the bad guy in the Nick Cage movie, National Treasure? Isn't he the bad guy in that?
He is the bad guy, but he's not a very good bad guy.
No.
He was also not a very good Bond villain, so let's be completely clear. He can't do bad guy very well.
I disagree. It's just that National Treasure doesn't need a strong villain. Most of the villainy and challenge is the environment that they have to overcome and all of these like weird riddles and traps. Sean Bean is there mostly to provide a fall guy for the end of the movie. And just kind of interrupt the plot by being like, oh, ha, ha, I've captured you now. Every single time that he wins, though, it secretly works out in the hero's favor. Sean Bean never actually succeeds at anything in that movie.
Yeah.
He didn't succeed at anything against Bond either, but let's not talk about that.
Well, look, Bond is not the top-rated pillar of writing fiction that some people would have you believe. I mean, it's literally about a dude being strapped to a table going, "That's right, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Oh no, you've managed to use a watch laser to escape. Oh no, and now I'm being thrown out of like a helium blimp or something. Oh no."
Dude, you're Dr. Evil's spot on.
Look, there's a whole Bond movie where the villain is literally just the governor from Pirates of the Caribbean floating around on a enormous boat being like, we're completely stealth. No one can ever find us. Now it's time to use social media to destroy the entire world. Oh no, they found my giant boat. Oh shit, no, I'm sinking. Oh god.
How dare you, sir? That is Jonathan Price, and he is a national treasure.
I mean, he's a national treasure. He's just not a national treasure of America. And that was his worst role.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty bad ones that he did. However, anyway.
Friends, let us recall what happened on the previous episode then. Ready to take a step forward. On this show, things have happened. People are moving about in response to a call for a tournament at the end of the month. Several factions seem to be at play. A deep game by House Herd is having ramifications across this region that we play in. And people have asked for a map. Not only can you find it on Discord, but if you go to twitch.tv/APGamingREAL and type exclamation GOT map, that's GOTMAP, the map will pop up. Like that. Yes, like what that person just did in chat.
I'm just a person.
Look,
oh man, this is it. You know what? Seriously, I'm sorry. I gotta go. Bye.
I have to tell you, I can only see the bottom line of text in my chat. I can only see the literal most recent comment right now because my OBS screen is covering everything else. Look, just be glad that you are accounted as a person. Not everyone gets such accounting in this world. I mean, would you give your horse the right to vote?
What is happening?
Yes, I would.
That was from the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know.
We're just like, would you give the horse the right to vote? And then whole cast starts laughing, and I'm like, wow, what a shitty dig at democracy. Okay, I guess that's where we're at now. Small petty grievances were delivered. The head of House Balfour may have incited a lifelong rivalry with a 9-year-old boy. It's hard to say. And a massive...
To be fair, the kid was asking for it, but...
The kid was asking for it. Jesus, what did he do? He said, do you want to go to a party? And you were like, fuck you, kid. What are you, 12?
No,
6?
I'm sorry. The kid invited him to, the Brian's gathering. That guy's just a jerk. He doesn't like share his good liquor with anybody. And
Oh,
boy,
boy.
About it.
Forces from House Startani, House Balfour, and House Herd are all having joined a massive Congo fleet and are heading around the continent to travel to Tortugas land, wherein they will be joined by a feast prepared by the Tortugas and travel together to the tournament in House Malabar lands. In the lands of House Yanth, there are plots underway. Plots to raise dogs, plots to make poisons, plots to determine just what the heck the Herd are doing. And House Tortuga awaits word as to whether their bannerman, the Tartaruga, will answer the call, or whether, for the first time in known history, perhaps they will not. Friends, countrymen, Westerosians, lend me your ears, and also send me your orders. Has everyone filled out their order cards on Roll20?
More or less.
More or less?
It's pretty much exactly the same as last week.
Okay, just making sure.
Mine's half of my people were en route for another week.
Cotton, order card filled out?
Yep.
Just confirming for everybody. Please cast while I assemble these orders, because I didn't look at them till right now, just because I know some of you were changing things. Feel free to talk and entertain the audience while I sort this,
Do you want us to put a song and dance on? Is this like Game of
Not
Thrones the
dancing.
musical?
I mean,
I'm not dancing.
Everybody can dance. You just can't necessarily do it well. We're good. We're good.
I mean, I can dance. I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I won't provoke you again for the dance off. Right? Isn't that how we're supposed to solve problems here?
No.
I wonder what kind of like food is most common in the Tortugas lands, because we're kind of in the middle of the desert and the mountains, so I assume that the lake is the main way that they get food. Like
Well,
That
you're
sounds
also-
right.
fishing the lake.
The turtle soup, obviously.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm wondering if it's too morbid to eat your own house sigil. Like, is that like?
I do.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're saffron. Yeah. So I guess like maybe like the like main like fancy dish that will be like served as the centerpiece of this big feast that I'm throwing is like some like large like river tortoise or something like that.
I mean, I would assume that there are desert crops being grown, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Sure.
lettuce, cabbage, beets. Probably not beets, because Palamedes have a lock on beet production.
But that's not like that's not going to be like the mainstay at the feast. You know, that's like the stuff around the feast.
Very well.
I would imagine mountain sort of like animals like goats and rams and that kind of a thing would also be a thing.
For
Goats
sure.
are delicious.
I can imagine that there's probably like a decent amount of like kind of like mountain shepherd type folks in as far as like the peasantry of that land goes. Makes sense.
You could serve shawarma.
yeah, why not? Seems good. Do they have garlic here? Yeah. You gotta get some good garlic sauce going if we're gonna have.
I mean, garlic probably wouldn't grow locally, but you would be able to get it from the trade route directly north of you.
what kind of climate does that grow in? I honestly have no idea.
I'm pretty sure garlic grows in temperate arboreal climates.
Yes, we probably have to ship it in.
I mean,
from
in
like,
Europe, they would literally pick it up by the side of the road and eat it while walking. So
they must have smelled horrible.
this is medieval Europe we're talking about. Half the population died from one plague, man. The smell would have been awful.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, let's see. Mhm.
Yeah, garlic is like a winter crop, so it'd probably do terrible in
In Dorne.
in Dorne, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the spices that you would be doing would be things like sage and other things that would, kind of like do incredibly well in drier climates.
I know, like, if I remember correctly, like Dornish hot peppers are a big thing in the books. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Because the Dornish like spicy food.
I'm sure there's also like not particularly like with depending upon the region, but there might be some like element of like cactus being included in the dishes, what have you. Much like in Mexican food, there's like dishes that are made with cactus.
Yeah, we got some tequila going on.
There's that too.
I have a problem with one of your orders, Connie. You've indicated that one of your characters will be teaching another one, but my last orders indicate that one of them is on a boat and the other is not.
Let me go. Can you show me a copy of that? Because
I'll send it to you on Discord.
Yeah, all right.
Ostriches. Do ostriches live in the desert or the mountains?
Emu though.
Really? That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god, I totally want there to be a bunch of emus running around. That sounds great.
Just a question about that then. Would you actually train the emus as mounts?
Yes, 100%. Dang it. Now I need to get a cavalry unit. I need the emus.
I feel like they would be the most heavily mocked unit of cavalry in all of Westeros.
Until you realize that the light cavalry emu unit is the most devastating of all. I'm pretty sure emus have really fast sprint speed, so that'd be good for like a light cavalry.
AP,
Yep.
Looking at the order, it's Drusilla and not Ophelia.
My apologies. I don't know why I wrote it like that then. Interesting.
Because you're trying to do too many things at once. What are you, a GM or something?
Yeah. Got it.
You know what? We should write you a little web app to make this actually run a little bit smoother, so you can keep track of stuff.
Could be. Nothing changed. You don't have any orders for one of your characters, Sam. Abel. It's fine if you don't have them doing anything. I just have the name Abel down.
Let me double check who that is, because I don't remember who that is. My apologies. Oh yeah, they're at home. So what we'll say they're doing is cool. There you go.
I will check the updated orders in just a second. To answer your question regarding siege weapons, Cotton, your engineers can build them, but they cost wealth to do so. In the rulebook, the rules are on page 229 for construction.
Thank you.
All right, just getting the last orders in.
How do you get more wealth in game, or like spend more, like? Because didn't we spend all our wealth to start?
Some of you did, some of you didn't. House fortunes can raise or lower your wealth. Donating 100 gold dragons to your house raises your house wealth by 1.
I should double check if I spent it all. Pretty sure I did.
I'm pretty sure I did too. More now.
How does a marketplace affect your ability to earn wealth?
It does so via raising your house fortunes roll at the end of the month.
Roger.
That was a very evil laugh.
This last set of orders ended up flipping the whole game around.
Uh-oh.
Yep, it's gonna be good.
Is somebody attacking my feast?
Look, you'll be lucky if Kelsa doesn't poison everybody at the tournament. She's like, I would like to brew deadly poisons as the first action of the game, and I'm like, what?
Look, I cannot fight. I cannot fight.
Friends, the first scene which takes place is in transit along the fleet. There is a gathering on the party boat donated by House Startani. At night, sailors from every boat anchor down, head over on smaller boats, and get on. Their morale on the boats are higher than ever. The whole fleet is enjoying the cultural exchange of 2 regions, 3 different peoples. A lot of money is exchanging hands among the lower decks through gambling. But there is a small problem. Fighting and discipline has broken down immensely. No one has died yet, but there are numerous and plentiful injuries, both by fist and by blade. And throughout all of this, we zoom to a certain person, and that person is Jabari. Why don't you tell us about Jabari, House Startani, and what exactly their mission is on the party boat?
So Lady Callista called Jabari, who is a former peasant turned squire, and has asked him to speak to the sailors on the ship and see why the people in the kingdom are unhappy.
Why don't you tell me what Jabari looks like? And I want to also offer any House Balfour characters a chance to join this particular scene on the neutral faction party boat. Present will be Bryce of the Brine, a well-regarded knight of House Haird.
Jabari's a 13-year-old kid, and I didn't do his looks all the way because I wasn't sure if VSC wanted to do them. No?
No, this is absolutely your character. I'm just gonna to play the role, but I love the idea of you creating something else that I have to portray.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think he's kind of scrawny, but starting to get a little bulked up now that he's, moved up positions slightly. He's probably got longish brown hair and looks very Dornish, dresses in a Dornish style, and all that.
Would you like to bring any characters for Cotton to play from your house? Since you will be playing Jabari. Jabari is, what are we calling them? We're not calling them traitor characters. We're calling them something else.
Voices of Dissent?
Voices of Dissent. Yes, Jabari is the voice of Dissent character for House of Startani.
So he's 13 years old, you said?
Yes.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the setting where the scene is going to be in. It'll give me a better understanding of.
This is a fairly large warship. It's been specifically undercrewed to allow more people on board. So every night it's hosting the crews of every other ship that can afford to allow people off. So rather than a elite, highly disciplined warship, as one would expect, since all of the warships here are all elite level, highly trained, it's more like a pirate ship. And not like, like a Blackbeard's Queen Anne Revenge. It's more like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. People are falling over the edge drunk. There's lots of rabble-rousing, punching, dice are going everywhere, cheating, cards, dancing, impromptu music sessions, lots of vocal music being involved in sea shanties. There is the merriment of sailors who are no longer under the watchful eyes of their captain or superior officers. Or their lords. And Jabari has been sent into this den of, let's not call them thieves, let's call them sailors. And must determine how the Startani people feel about their new lords.
How the Startani people feel about their new lords.
Yes, the Startani have a problem. For some reason, their people don't like them that much.
Right, but not everybody on this ship is only Startani.
That is correct.
Interesting. Okay. So Jarrell was invited to this particular little extravaganza. He's not necessarily the most sort of like subtle guy in the world, but he also doesn't always make the best decisions. So he brings his 11-year-old son Tristan.
Interesting.
Who is just beginning his training under Duncan, who to train him to be a squire, and I think Tristan kind of catches sight of Bari, and like any sort of younger child, idolizes an older child, or he perceived.
Well, you guys
So
are the
I think
only
Tristan-
kids on the boat. You're the only
Right.
people within that equivalent age group.
What happened to your pissed off NPC from the other boat?
Pissed off NPC? Good
Yeah.
friend. I assume you meant a character. NPC? What a harsh terminology. Beckett
Wow.
Sand is not some faceless mob. He is a
Isn't it?
legitimate character.
Well, I don't know his name, so
Oh my goodness.
So
This
Beckett,
is-
wait a minute. Beckett Sand is okay.
He's the
wow.
squire of Bryce of the Brine, and he is not
and-
present on this boat.
That
Bryce
was the
is
question
here.
I was trying to ask.
Yes, Bryce is here. His squire is not.
Yeah, Tristan would be there, and he'd catch sight of Jabari, and I think that's generally what would happen. Is he would try
So
to
who
attach
would you
himself.
like to offer to play Tristan, since you will actually be playing Jabari?
I'm perfectly happy with Cotton to do it, or anybody else at this particular point. He's not a completely fleshed out character, but he's
As we're playing each other's character. The
Yeah,
show
that
is the
works.
greatest masterpiece I have ever created.
Look
Let's
at
be
me. One personality trait, and I'll just roll with that.
eager.
Okay.
He's incredibly eager to please.
He
not
wants to
only
be
his father-
noticed by senpai, by his older. Oh
Yes.
boy.
Senpai Jabari.
Perfect.
Oh boy. The stage is set then, friends. You are on a boat at sea that is not moving. There's a light, warm breeze. Merrymaking is to be had. Alcohol is found in reasonable but not overwhelming environments. And can we say that perhaps Jarrell is otherwise engaged for the evening in a game of dice?
in a game of dice and mildly trying to insult the Brian at the same time.
Oh boy, so are we talking like the farthest back upper deck where the, I think it's called the poop deck, like a executive knights and lords only game, like the captain of the ship is involved and his highest ranking officers, and everybody's up there just like they're playing liar's dice. Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow. Jarrell's actually really good at that game, so of course
I'm
he's
sure
going to be.
he is.
Former mercenaries, so
Former
We'll
mercenary,
find out.
10 years lord.
We'll find out how
Find
that
every-
goes at the end of this. But let's find out about Jabari, about Tristan, and how the night goes for them first.
So if Jarrell and Brian and any of the other sort of like knights or any lords or knights or anybody of any type of rank in any particular house is up on essentially on the poop deck, Jabari will be probably making his way among the revelry going on the lower idea, sort of the lower main deck, where it's probably been cleared away, and there might be just drinking around crates or the rigging or whatever, or there might be a couple of tables like placed out. But he'll just be kind of first just kind of taking in sort of the situation, being very cautious, and just observing, trying to identify who he should be approaching. Because he's going to be a little bit more methodical. He's not going to be just completely, throw caution to the wind. He's going to try to figure out who's the right person or group of people to insert himself into the conversation.
Fantastic. As this happens, Tristan, do you observe from a distance?
I think Tristan goes right up to Jabari, seeing this older, cooler kid, and just kind of taps him on the shoulder.
What?
Hey, it's a fun party, right?
What are you doing here, kid?
I'm celebrating, and I'm not a kid.
You're not even wearing a sword.
You don't look that much older than me.
I'm a squire. I don't know what you are. I've got too many things to do. Excuse me. And he tries to move on a little bit to find a better vantage point without Tristan being there.
I think Tristan will kind of follow him and be like, I'm pretty much a squire too.
Really? I don't. You aren't carrying any blades. It's the duty of your squire to serve your knight or your lord.
Well, I didn't bring my blade to the party. I left it on my ship.
At that, Jabari just kind of goes from, you know, annoyed to concerned. You do understand that the party, this gathering here, this is more. Who did you come with? This is dangerous.
I came with all of these people, and he'll just kind of point to the Balafors, some of the Balafors.
Wait. You're not Lord Balefor's son, are you?
What? That would. Psh. I'm a squire like you.
No. I'm sorry. No. You need to go back up there with your father right now.
Why?
These are little better than pirates down here. You need to get back up there. You cannot protect yourself here.
I don't have to. Everybody kind of does that for me.
Jabari just kind of rubs his head and just scratches. All right. Are you good at following orders?
Yes, sir.
Then stay close and don't say a word no matter what happens next.
He looks really pumped to go now.
And before he moves on, Jabari reaches into like his tunic or whatever he's wearing. He reaches in and pulls out an incredibly small blade, something that he carries on himself to protect himself. And you know, if in no other circumstance he has any other weapon, or he has to strip his weapon. It was hidden someplace, you know, on him in his outfit, and he hands it, of course, hilt first to Tristan. And he says, "Here, don't use this unless I tell you to."
I'll just take it. Thank you. Which house are you with?
Now hide it.
I'll just tuck it under some of his clothing.
And he says, "I serve House Startani, but like I said, don't say anything else. And just follow me." And always keeping a watchful eye on Tristan as he kind of slowly walks through the crowd, course correcting Tristan wherever he needs to not bump or jostle anybody who's actually drinking, or there's any type of revelry going on. He's just trying to make sure that Tristan stays sort of as close to him as possible without not getting, bumping into anybody. Okay. And he's continuing to try to take an assessment of the situation, the party, or the gathering, to be able to know where to go next, or who to approach.
Very well. I would like Jabari to make a stealth blending in check. The difficulty of this is going to be extremely high, because not only is he status 3 and therefore afforded the same courtesy as a knight or a minor lord, so is his charge. Tristan is also status 3, and both of you are imminently recognizable by everyone on this boat, unless you make some attempt to go, "Hello, fellow sailors. Hello, fellow kids." So the difficulty that you will need to defeat is a 15 in order to blend in with these particular folks.
I don't think he's trying to blend in. I think Jabari knows, he's smart enough to understand and realizes that with Tristan by his side, he really is incapable of hiding.
So
instead,
I mean, blending in isn't hiding, right? It's literally, when you're doing stealth blending, it's not necessarily. All right, how do you want to approach this then?
I don't think he's going to hide. I think he's going to look for the correct conversation to get into. So it's more of,
very well,
a perception or assessing the situation to figure out where he's probably going to get the best response somebody who's essentially a squire. Maybe he would use flattery, or ask, to hear tall tales, or something to kind of hook somebody in to then confide in him, or at least have a conversation with him about the information that he's looking for.
I will allow you to make a persuasion charm roll or an awareness notice roll. Both will be at higher but not as high difficulties.
Definitely an awareness roll.
Very well. You can roll awareness with any bonus dice, and notice that Jabari has. Difficulty is 12.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cotton. He doesn't have anything besides the 4 in awareness. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. So 46. How about a 5?
That's a 9 total, which is not
Sorry, 9.
enough to cut it.
Okay.
So, over the course of an hour, Jabari and Tristan make their way around the party boat, and it is everywhere they go, they're recognized in the same way that, I'm going to make another Lord of the Rings reference, but, the hobbits showing up at the inn of the Prancing Pony get mentioned as, oh, little lords, right? Like, everyone recognizes that they are more than what they seem, and all of the particular people that Jabari would want to speak to, the lower ranking common folk of Dornish descent, all disappear or claim up in a way that makes it impossible for him to get the information he's looking for. They're watching you, watching them.
Right. Who gave the orders to Jabari, out of curiosity?
Mom.
Lady Callista gave him to Jabari.
Okay. So as that's as we spend the time, do we actually hear anything that's interesting? That
Oh,
gives an
for
indication
two
of somebody
young
that-
boys, they hear plenty of interesting things.
No.
They've-
I'm not talking about that kind of a thing. I'm talking
Oh, I just
about
want to be
the-
clear. They've learned a lot about the horrors of King's Landing, friend.
I'm sure they absolutely have. What I'm trying to figure out is if they've actually heard anything that might indicate somebody they might approach later on.
No, indeed not.
Okay.
Let us turn then to a game of dice between Bryce of the Brine and the only man who can consider himself remotely his competitor, Lord Jorrel, the mercenary knight. So Bryce is not a particularly tall man, but he is a well-developed man. Not an overly flashy amount of muscle, but you can see that this is someone who fights every day of his life and has developed really good shoulder muscles through consistent swimming. He's got a half spear on his back, but no other particular weapons, because it's not the kind of thing you would carry on this boat. And he's been holding his own to some extent against you. He's not a prolific liar, he just seems to be kind of lucky, really.
Okay.
He sizes Jorrel up and says, "Is that your boy down there, making the rounds?" He indicates the front end of the ship.
Well, where? And he kind of steps up and kind of looks around and looks down at the dice and at the table at the same time, making sure that the Brine does not try to take advantage of him in any way. It's just, oh yeah, he's attached himself to some squire lad. That's smaller than that other boy who came to my ship. Boy, he was a bit of a pain.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that, Lord Jorrel. I heard that you mistreated my squire in a way unbecoming of a lord. Really,
I'm
it's
not sure
rather
what
an
you mean by
embarrassment.
mistreat.
Oh, I mean, my understanding is you took the boy to task in a way that only someone who is his knight or his father should be doing. For something that was not even a problem. And as he says that, he tilts his cup over to double check his dice. I'd appreciate it if you kept your concerns to your own son, rather than to my squire.
I wasn't concerned about your squire. I thought his choice of language and his service to the person who was in charge of him quite embarrassing, actually.
So the rest of the sailors gathered here are noticing that this went from friendly banter to, honorable insults that could very well lead to a conflict later, and are starting to edge away from the game.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you guys just started some very serious shit talking. You just insulted someone who is ostensibly a knight, right? You have issue with the way I treat my squire. You believe that he is uneducated.
Oh, I never said the lad was couldn't read or write. I just felt he was a little inexperienced in the world to be, traveling and giving messages to the lords and ladies that are currently journeying along this troop. Seems like the kind of job for somebody who's hosting a party.
I have no idea what you're trying to say. Passing along messages is a squire's duty. And it is not my squire's education whom I'm concerned about right now. From what I'm hearing on that lower deck, your son may be opening up to an entirely new world he's not prepared for.
Oh no, my boy will do just fine. It's nothing like Flea Bottom. He'll be perfectly great. We'll have a conversation later. His mother will get upset with me, but the father and son will bond and understand the delicacies of women.
Oh, well, it sounds like you've got it all figured out.
Oh,
my lord.
No. I have nothing figured out. I just know that you can't hide children away from the horrors of the world, so they might as well be free to explore and then help them survive.
So he tosses a single gold dragon into the bet pile after checking his dice again. He's prepared to make a call against you. Would you like to match his bet or withdraw from this particular occasion? I mean, this is a lot of money for a ship's game, right? This is like an all-in bluff between sailors.
I would like to taunt him.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I would like to taunt him, and I would like to say, only one dragon. You don't seem very confident for someone who clearly claims to be quite the warrior poet.
Wow. That's good. I like it. Why don't you make a persuasion taunt roll?
You got it.
Let me see what is opposed by this.
I feel like that's like one of the cool things that Belfour is uniquely positioned to do is like any taunt that he makes lands double just because of who it's coming from towards another member of the nobility, which is so good.
Yeah, how about a 20?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Nothing special for it being a taunt test.
But pretty good. I'll take that from.
It's not bad.
Certainly. Passive.
I can't remember how difficulty even works in this game.
So the difficulty you need to overcome is not that one.
21. Oh.
That'd be very funny if I said that, wouldn't it? No, sorry, didn't fill out the full calculation for it, so I gotta add everything up. It is a 11, and you succeed with a entire extra, because you have enough space to get +5 to your roll, you succeed with a great success.
Okay.
So he calls your taunt and puts a second gold dragon in there, right, to match his first bet, and says, a lot of money on the table, and I don't think that the rest of these gentlemen could match such bets, officers though they might be. If we were to win simply by force, there's no finesse to the game, no fun.
I don't know anybody who's forcing anything, except for the possibility of you by betting 2 dragons to kind of clear the field. I mean,
He puts a third gold dragon down.
is the only way that you can actually win by forcing forcing everybody else out of the game? That doesn't seem very fair and not very, honorable for a knight as yourself.
Well, if you wish to find out how honorable I am, Your Honor, perhaps you'd like to call or walk away.
Well, that depends.
A lot of money
You
on
gotta
the
make it-
deck.
That's nothing. You and I.
So
You and
he
I
looks
spend-
around to all the rest of the sailors who are all like, that's true, that's true. And you're just like, this is nothing, because I'm a noble lord of a house. I have hundreds and hundreds of dragons to spend. Right? Let's be very clear here. The status between you and him and everybody else, there's a clear tierage of status between all three of you.
I mean, how many sailors are sitting at the same, or how many other individuals are sitting at the table
3.
with us?
The captain, his first mate, and his quartermaster.
The captain, the first mate, and the quartermaster. Okay, and
They don't have a single dragon among them to bet at this table.
All right, and how much is on the table right now? 3.
3 gold dragons.
I'm willing to bet.
Are
If
you
you
willing
were
to
to
bet?
If you were to throw down another dragon, I will match it, and if I win, these fine gentlemen here will be well taken care of because each of them will get 2 dragons.
So he says, I have 3 dragons on the table, and I'm still waiting for your bet.
I'm sorry, I really can't go in for anything other than 4 or maybe even 5 at this point. I mean, if you can't really, match the idea behind that bet, if you can't afford it, it's okay. I understand. You're welcome.
I want to be
walk
clear.
away
This
from
is
the
as
thing.
far as your roll goes. You've got him to put 3 gold dragons on the table. Either you go in on this bet, or he's going to walk away because you folded.
That's not how the game of liar's dice works, buddy. And he says, sure, why not? But I guarantee you, when I win, and I will win one way or the other,
Very well.
these gentlemen will be paid. And he lays down 3 dragons.
Okay. Let us make opposed deception checks then, which is persuasion, deception, bonus dice.
How about a bluff?
How would that? I will allow for it. I'll allow for it.
So here's what he's going to do. He's going to reach in his pocket. He's going to pull out 4 dragons, and he's going to lay all 4 of them on the table. And he says, "I told you I can't go for anything before. I mean, it's really." And he just kind of leaves it laying there.
Okay. Let's make our rolls then.
Does he match my weight? Does he match
He
my
does.
bet?
He does.
Oh!
You get destroyed.
Oh,
You
wow.
get absolutely destroyed.
Wow.
The turnaround here is unreal. Unreal. Your bluff goes over well. It would work in most situations against most people. but his skill at deception is so good. He's played the whole time like he's, you know, like maybe he's been implying the whole time that he's got like 4 4s. You go in for it, and he reveals his dice, and it's just this weird assortment that is nothing close to 4 4s. And he cleans the pot walking away, and he gives a gold dragon to each of the crewmen there, and then walks away with your 4th gold dragon for himself, having gained great respect and, of course, some measure of, let's call it, honor with those men, right? He turned your play back around against you. But he's not like playing it up, right? He knows that this is not a lot of money for you. And that it was close. He holds out a hand for you and says, "A well-played game, Lord."
As he starts to walk away.
No, he's offering you a handshake. A well-played game.
I'm going to taunt him again.
All right. Tripling down. Go ahead. Hit me with the taunt.
Well, first thing he's going to do is Jarrell kind of leans in, you know, and winks at the captain and says, "Well, I told you those gentlemen would get paid." With an 11.
An 11 is exactly what you need to taunt him. What is the objective of his taunt, I should say?
The objective is this taunt is for the
Are you trying to imply to him that you, like, lost on purpose?
I'm trying to imply to him that no matter what, I always win.
Oh, okay. All right. His eyes harden slightly as he holds his hand out to you, and you respond with this taunt.
I shake his hand as I do this.
Okay. Yeah, well, he squeezes a little bit tighter than, you know, a gentleman's handshake should be. And he says, "A second time, a well-played game, my lord."
I absolutely love games. I do.
I can tell.
Anytime you want to play this one, or, you know, ones that involve with steel, I will be at your service. And he kind of bows and kind of, you know, sort of does a full, you know, sort of a theatrical sort of bow, extending his arms.
Well, my lord, should you find yourself stepping off of your horse long enough to enter the melee, my spirit and I may find you there at the tourney. I would take care, though. It's been many years since you rolled around in the mud with the rest of us. I would hate to injure you accidentally. Play fighting is not something that I'm used to.
Listen, I know that you got your name spending so much time in the water because you have to clean all that dirty grime from your body and being, you know, among, you know, the commoners, but you don't know what shit really smells like, my friend.
So he laughs as he turns to walk away, and he says, "That's true. I would need to talk to a flea-bottom whore in order to know what shit smelled like."
And as he continues his walk, he says, "Well, you'd have to ask the flea-bottom lord first, wouldn't you?" And he kind of winks at the crew.
Yeah. Things do not go in anyone's way tonight, I think. Jorah loses some cash. Bryce does not have a clear victory, and Jabari doesn't learn anything. Tristan's the only one who advances in his knowledge of sailing terminology and also of carnal relationships with women.
Oh, God. Good.
That is our first set of scenes. The next set of scenes will take place at the Star Tawny main hold, where once again Lord Mercutio is met by a emissary from the Saphir named Habib. This time, the scene is just like the steps up to Mercutio's seat. We see Habib walking up them, and then Habib stops, and the camera is just on his calves, where Jabari is flexing his calf muscles, which are enormous and very well muscled. And then the whole camera goes like up his body, where he's just like standing there, just occasionally flexing. Habib says, "Lord Mercutio, I have returned once again. It has been an entire week, perhaps a bit more days. I have been told that I would be meeting with Lady Callista, and yet she is not here. And for the whole week, you have put me off. I have important business, and there are many who might be injured by your hesitance and reluctance here in order to deal with the Sephir. We are simply trying to extend protection and good neighborliness with to ourselves."
I did not intend to put you off. I just told you you could come back when Callista came back from the tourney.
That
If you
will
wanted
be
to speak
over
to
a
her.
month, almost 2 months before she returns. And that is assuming that things go well in that regard.
However, about your proposition, I'll give you another.
When you say that, he stops flexing for a minute. And I'm talking about like micro flexing, right? He's not like, ah! He's just, like small little, just showing off how incredibly strong he is. He stops doing that and says, "Oh?"
We share a border. We should work together more. Do you agree?
He just openly laughs and says, "I had thought we had already agreed on that many months ago. It would be hard to say otherwise."
You said you would defend that border from bandits if we paid you, right?
That is indeed a thing that we have extended to your house.
How about if you defend our border from the bandits, our ships will be at your call if you ever need them. If you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours.
Wow, Cotton. I just want to be clear. Is this an offer made? Is this, a serious offer? What you're...
Yeah, if they need serious help, they will send their ships to help defend them.
Well, that's not what you said. You said our ships are at your call. That could mean that they come down and are like, "We need your ships to go someplace and fight."
Then,
Rather than a defensive nature, what you have said. I'm giving you a second to maybe rethink that proposition, just in case it's
I'll
not what
say
you
yes.
wanted.
To help defend your borders.
The water barely touches our lands. We have no ports. I do not believe that having warships of your sort to help defend us would help us in any way.
That's my bad. I was looking at the old map where they have the river right next to them.
Yes.
Then we'll send our archers to defend your other borders if the need ever arises.
So he turns and looks away from Mercutio, and then turns back and says, "No. The ships will do. If we are ever in need of ships, you will come to our call. Yes? And in exchange, our great desert raiders will sweep away all of the bandits that plague your lands. We are in agreement?"
We do not like starting wars, but if you need transportation to start your own, if that was your plan, then that is fine.
I believe that this will work. I will send ravens to the Sephir, and the clan council will come back with an answer for you.
If you wanted to speak with Callista about this matter, she will return within a month.
Do I speak with Calista or do I speak with you? Who has the
You will
authority?
speak with us both.
So you cannot extend to me this offer.
I can.
So I speak with you then.
Yes, you had mentioned wanting to speak with Lady Callista. I was just saying she will be back in a
I
month.
speak with the one who is in charge. Who is in charge?
We are both in charge.
So she needs to be here in order for you to make a decision.
No, I've sent her a letter. I can extend this offer. Everything is fine.
So you are in charge.
For now, yes. Whenever the lady is away, I am solely in charge.
We will send a raven to Lady Kelsa at the tournament to confirm what you have said. And should it be true, we will begin to move upon these desert bandits who plague your trade routes so. We are just so concerned about what happens to our neighbors. It would be unfortunate for you to continue to lose money during this time if you are unsure of your authority.
I am quite sure of my authority, but if you want to send a letter to Kelsa, that is fine.
I will return to Saphir Lands myself in order to speak on your behalf before anyone of note. But before I do, allow me to ask, Lord Mercutio, you are from the north, correct?
Yes.
When I came to Startani Lands, I was hoping to partake of flowers, you know. There are many fine desert flowers that I have taken a smell from, but I had hoped in particular to capture northern flowers while I was here. Where might I find such particular interest in the town?
Am I allowed to have northern flowers at a character?
Yes.
Because if I could have like a garden right outside the hall with different
Absolutely.
flowers, then
You're just gonna direct him to the garden?
he'll lead him there.
Okay. You get there. Let's be very clear here. He like nods along. He was not expecting to be led to an actual garden. He spends the time walking around and is like, yes, these are all very nice flowers. Yes. Lord Mercutio, you are a very happily married man, I can tell.
Thank you.
I will go now. This conversation has been enlightening in many regards.
It was nice speaking to you.
He gives you like head bow, and that's about it as he dismisses himself from Lord Mercutio's company. So we were gonna end a bit early tonight, if I'm recalling. I feel like now is a great time to take our break, and then we will go to the feast that everyone is waiting for. Well, we'll probably go train a dog, and then we'll go to the feast. I feel like the feast is definitely the end scene that we want. Friends, we'll be back in about 8 minutes for the second half. We'll find out more about Lord Jorel, I should say, and everyone else involved in that party boat. And we're finally going to meet Dominga in her full Dominganess. Stick around for the second half.